Good afternoon, Tshering. Thank you very much for the time. Tshering, you have been called Mr. Bhutan, and now you are a global health and happiness coach. How do you introduce yourself these days?
Hello, I'm Mr. Bhutan. I help people build minds and bodies that serve them.
So, you started your journey in bodybuilding and fitness a decade ago. What was the turning point that made you passionate about health and happiness?
There was no particular turning point for me. It was a very, very gradual process. But the main lesson that I learned through 2 decades of bodybuilding was it created a path into my mind. I understood that you had a two-way path from body to mind and mind to body. So basically, through the body, I understood the mind, and then after that, I started exploring the mind in order for my journey for health and happiness.
You have lived and worked in Bhutan, India, Finland, Senegal, and now Switzerland. What has this global experience taught you about health and happiness?
I'm very grateful to be exposed to so many unique countries. It was never intentional. My life took me to these places because of my relationship. Bhutan introduced me to the essence of Buddhism. India offered me one of my life's heroes, Mahatma Gandhi. Finland taught me the real weather is the weather inside. Senegal helped me transcend the delusion in skin color. And today, Switzerland continues to teach me that money cannot buy happiness.
Looking back at the first Thimphu bodybuilding contest in 2008 and winning the national title multiple times, what did those victories mean to you personally?
For me, I started bodybuilding for two reasons. One was the freedom to conduct myself as a sportsman like the way I want. I didn't have to rely on any teammates, so I could take full responsibility of my victories and full responsibility for my losses. The second reason was as a kid being left out in the dust because I was not clever enough or good enough at sports. I understood very early on that the only way to get my voice heard was to distinguish myself in some field that the world values. And accidentally, it became bodybuilding. So when I won my first title, it was basically, I felt I earned a platform to share my life's message. So there are two things I did as I got the title. The first was to call council and say I would like to do write a health and fitness column. And the second was to do a nutrition and fitness seminar so that I can raise money for the welfare home that we had then next to the hospital in 2008.
What was your biggest struggles in this journey and how did you overcome it?
Personally, for me, the biggest struggle in bodybuilding was seeing my fellow competitors as good human beings, such as myself. Not to see them as enemies, to see them as people working as hard as me, struggling, sacrificing to acquire the things that I wanted, which was basically titles and medals for the countries at that time. It took me a while to overcome, but I would say in the last 2 years of my competitive career, that's 2015 and 16, I was finally able to see all my competitors as fellow human beings, which made my last 2 years of competitive bodybuilding a very friendly and loving one.
Thank you. What does the health and happiness really means to you? Is it just a physical fitness or something more?
Health and happiness for me is beyond fitness. It's two parts, one part body, one part mind. The two most valuable tools we have to experience life. So health and happiness for me is basically self-mastery of body and mind.
Wonderful. So many people in Bhutan and around the world struggles with stress and mental health. What's your number one advice for them?
My advice is very simple for people who are struggling with mental illness. Is basically, I would like to show you how the mind and body really works. Once you understand you have only two tools to experience this life with, which is your body and your mind, and you really understand how it really works, you'll be able to create the life that you would like to experience. Because most of us wander through life with little to no idea how your body and your mind really works.
If someone wants to start today, what are the 3 small daily habits that can change their life?
The 3 simple daily habits that one can practice to change their life would be, the first one would be stop complaining. Any form of complaint or blaming is basically you telling yourself that you do not hold the power to change your circumstances. You're relying on someone to change themselves or circumstances to change themselves and not taking responsibility. So by stopping any kind of complaint or blaming, you're basically taking charge of your life and not playing a victim. The second simple step would be to focus on what we have and what we control. Most of us focus on the one thing that we don't have or we would like to have, and we ignore all the thousands of things that we possess currently. In terms of focusing on what we control, an example would be if the weather is poor that you do not like, pouring rain, then you can decide either to complain about the rain or hope for it to change, or you can take responsibility, put on a rain boot, take an umbrella, and carry on with your life. And the third one will be to give freely. Give of your time, give of your knowledge, give of your money, give of your strength. Any form of giving without expecting in return is again telling yourself that you have enough. One thing that we all desire in terms of acquiring people, experiences and things is to feel enough. And the quickest way to feel enough is to give freely.
Wow. So what is one common mistake that people make when trying to get it fit?
Most people focus way too much on exercise and too little on other aspects that are far more important than exercise, which are sleep, nutrition, and movement. We, as a human body, did not evolve to exercise, but rather we evolved to move. So that's why my advice for people who are trying to improve their fitness would be to focus on the nutrition, sleep, and movement as well.
All right. So you have worked with people from different cultures. Do you believe health and happiness looks different in Bhutan, Europe, and Africa?
Yes and no. Yes, happiness means the same thing to all the people around the world, no matter where they live. Everybody wants peace, good health, and happiness. But no, because the path to acquiring health and happiness is different. In the West, what I've noticed is they try to achieve happiness by acquiring things and experiences. And in Bhutan, I noticed that people try to achieve happiness through prayers.
Wow. Can you share one simple fitness routine or practice that anyone can do at home without equipment?
A combination of push-ups, Superman, and bodyweight lunges done continuously without break to the best of your abilities is a very simple routine to make yourself healthy.
All right, thank you. What inspired you to become a health and happiness coach instead of just a fitness trainer?
I initially started helping people with exercise and nutrition, but over time, very often the clients that have worked around the world would tell me that I'm much more than a nutritionist and trainer. So as time passed by, I decided to share much more of my life, the other aspects of my life, into my teaching. So I introduced sleep, I introduced spirituality, I introduced the practice of giving, the idea of mind. So gradually, basically, I started teaching them much more than the exercise and nutrition, and much more of also the other aspects that I was already applying in my life.
All right. So this is the last question. So if you had to sum up your philosophy in one sentence, what would it be?
My life's mission has always been simple, irrespective to what I've done in my life or where I've lived. The mission is always to inspire the God in everyone. But by God, I mean not the God that resides in a temple or in holy text, but rather a God that resides in every selfless thought and every selfless action. So that is the God that I'm trying to inspire in everyone that I meet.
Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.